Bro Force Squad's Comic Movie Madness Tournament. I'm Matt Geiger, alongside the mad scientist Brian Banner and Jeff Hornacek. What's up, Jeff?
What's up?
Hey, Brian.
Hello.
And we have 32 movies left trying to call themselves the greatest comic/superhero movie of all time, and we are grading all of them on these 5 things.
Guys, we're grading them on acting and casting, story plot, best scene, impact on pop culture, and rewatchability. There's our 5 categories. Tally along with us at home.
Also, by now, you know to cast your vote. Just check out our Facebook, Bro Force Squad Podcast, and our Twitter page, @BroForceSquad, to let your voices be heard. And speaking of letting your voices be heard, doing a little differently on this thing, let's do the fan vote first. Banner, this is your baby. Take it away.
All right, guys. First, I'd like us to just take a moment of silence for the fallen. This was a fucking bloodbath. All right? Now, this thing got uglier than Doomsday and Batman vs. Superman or Kevin Bacon's German accent in First Class.
Wow.
Now,
You take that
we're
back.
not going to be able to get into all the specifics of the battle until we consult with our legal team. Ronnie Cycli a little bit more. He informed us that this is a much bigger case than he can handle by himself, and he's bringing in the big guns, and we're waiting for Matt Murdock to call us back. But he did say that we can talk about a few quotes, the first of which comes from Lamar Daniels. And, guys, again, this is for the first fan vote. This is how we're starting round 2 off. X-Men First Class versus Batman versus Superman Dawn of Justice. All right? Lamar Daniels says, "Are you serious? LOL. It's not even a contest. BVS. And please put the Ultimate Edition up there for the overtly critical schmucks pointing out things of which they have literally no idea how, outside of Googling the definition of YouTubing the process of how they work or are applying in this feature-length films." He goes on and on. That's what started all this off, all right?
Then someone
Next, we
showed
have-
up with a knife, I think, after that.
Yeah, then Michael Freary, and again, I apologize if we butcher your guys' names.
Banner
All
read
he
that like
said
there was 34 R's in his last name.
Well, there's like 2. All he said was First Class. That's what started the war, guys. Mom jokes were coming out. You have a small dick. They talked a lot about things that are pertinent to the tournament, though. Acting, casting, story, plot, a little bit of rewatchability. But, guys, they made some good points in their 50,000 comments that they left. First of which I'm going to get into was the story and plot. These are 2 drastically different stories. One's a little bit lighthearted. One's very, very dark. And it's tough subject matter. What do you guys think?
I just like to see this type of passion. I mean, no one got hurt, as far as I know, unless one of them, like, geo-tracked the other one and drove to their house, which I wouldn't rule out, and fuck, now I probably gave one of them an idea. But these are 2 movies, and I think anytime we put DC against Marvel, we expect not everybody's going to make it back home safely to their families. So this is why we did this tournament, for these types of debates.
I'm going to disagree with one thing, and that is on Lamar's. We shouldn't put the Ultimate Edition up there. I paid $30 and lose sleep to see these fuckers on Thursday night at midnight. Do it right the first time.
Preach.
I admit that the Ultimate Edition is way better. I like BVS. I actually love BVS. I like First Class, too. I want to shout out to my boy Aaron Stites, too, who just commented with neither, which I think is the way a lot of people feel. If you didn't like BVS, not a lot of people think First Class is one of the greatest X-Men, but I thought that was a really funny comment as well.
Yeah, I'll piggyback off of this. I've been, I think, pretty open about the fact that I'm not a big fan of First Class or Batman vs. Superman. For this tournament, I went back and rewatched both of them. I will say that after watching them both again, I liked them both more than I did the first one. They're kind of an acquired taste for me. But they're just they're both tough movies, in my opinion. The way the DCEU is going, they're just very serious. They're not funny at all. There's no comic relief. And then you have X-Men, this origin story that it kind of tried to reboot it, but it didn't. We have no idea where we're at in the timeline. That kind of brings us to our next comment, which I'm sorry, Eric Oglesby, we're not going to because of time restraints, we're not going to read your 7 comments. The gist of it is, Eric thinks we all need to boycott every X-Men movie ever made until they give the rights over to Disney, like Sony and Universal has done. Again, if you listen to our past pods, you know our feelings on that and where we're at.
Eric, I'll just say this. Be the change you want to see in the world. That's the American dream. It's beautiful. Fight for what you believe in, you know?
Dude has been on record that Deadpool sucks, too, because he won't see that. He said he will not see it.
All right, Eric. Well, I take back most of the positive things that I said.
Yeah. I do think out of his comment, though, you can pull a little something out that, again, pertains to the tournament impact on pop culture. This movie came after X3 and Wolverine and everything. This rebooted, quote-unquote, the X-Men franchise, but did it?
I agree with most of the stuff that Eric says, actually. Fox made a great movie in Deadpool, but they've made a bunch of great movies. They're going to fuck it up sooner or later. They should give it to Marvel. They won't, though, because they'd be giving up on a ton of money. But I agree with most of the things he usually says, actually.
Jeff, you got anything you want to add for Mr. Oglesby?
I mean, look.
I know you guys go way back.
We do. And by the way, what a great summer camp in 4th grade, Eric. Let's reminisce about that sometime. I think his heart is in the right place. Like, boycotting it, obviously, no one's going to do. I would kind of reserve that for, like, more important things in my life.
Like slavery?
Yeah, something like that. I would boycott slavery. What are you talking about? But it has been Fox has I think the thing with Fox, Geiger and I have talked about this before, they were ready to end the X-Men after X3, and then it made a shit ton of money because people love the X-Men, and they were like, well, now we have to keep it going. And that was the first domino that fucked everything up. I agree, Eric. They drive me crazy as well, but I think part of the reason we're fanboys is because we have to go support this stuff.
And one last thing on you, Eric. I love the fact that you are so devoted to the comics. That is fantastic. That's the best thing out of your whole 50 comment rant here. I think we should end this debate with between X-Men First Class and Batman vs Superman: Dawn of Justice with Steven Jaramillo. I've been drinking, guys. Sorry. Hall of Fame, Steven. You're there.
You're in, bro.
His comment is BVS, but I still love X-Men First Class. Again, he sums it up right there. They're both good movies, but only one can move on. Batman vs. Superman, moving on, 118 to 62.
Wow. Thank you so much for all your votes and comments. That was awesome. It made
guys, it was very hard picking these comments out as well. We had a billion of them. Keep it going.
Thank you guys for participating. That's a hell of a voter turnout. Suck it, North Korea.
All right, guys, before we do our live scoring matchup of the day, which everyone is a fan of, let's go do some quick highlights. Dark Knight took on Batman Forever earlier. Dark Knight dominated 14-1. They're moving on to the Sweet 16. Batman Forever's out. And the 2016 Doctor Strange took on Captain America Winter Soldier. Winter Soldier 10-5 over Doctor Strange. Kind of safe to say Doctor Strange just hasn't been out long enough. It's not even on DVD. Rewatchability definitely hurt it there. So, now, for our feature match of the day. Movies ready.
Let's get it on.
Let's fight.
The original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles from 1990 versus the original Spider-Man.
Wow.
Maguire.
Let's fucking go.
Fuck.
Yeah, I'll kick it off. Acting. Spider-Man has actors in it. TMNT kind of doesn't. Most of them are puppets, so gotta give it to Spider-Man. Jeff?
I know, dude, it sucks. Like, Elias Koteas as Casey Jones is fucking awesome in this, but...
He is great at that, yeah.
And the Spider-Man cast was really good, but TMNT has... We talked about this, I think, off-pod with all three of us. It's just at an inherent disadvantage. Like you said, its puppets are like the four main characters, the five if you count Splinter. So, like, yeah, Spider-Man gets my point. Banner.
100% I agree. Even if you take that out of the equation, the fact that TMNT they're never going to win this vote. But if you go back and even just look at the Spider-Man cast, Tobey Maguire killing it in 2002 when this came out. William Dafoe He's still a solid actor.
Great.
Kirsten Dunst, top of her game. James Franco was a little bit before his time there. Still a phenomenal actor.
Joe Manganiello's in this movie.
Joe Manganiello was in it. J.K. Simmons killed it in this.
Incredible.
So even if it wasn't going against TMNT, it's still going to win a lot of points in this category because that is a very, very good cast.
Also, Elizabeth Banks works at the Daily Bugle. I rewatched this the other day, and she's in The Office.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, I missed that one.
Spider-Man came out fighting, up 3-0, going on to the second, which is story and plot. I gave it to TMNT. The Shredder with the Foot Clan, how they had the underground gang, the brothership of the TMNT brothers, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles brothers, I don't think was ever really on show like it was in this film. I give it to TMNT. Jeff?
I did the same thing. The fact that you can make a story that makes you care this much about 4 mutant teenage turtles.
Who are puppets.
Right, and their relationships together. I mean, the Kevin Eastman comics were catered to kids. This movie is not, and there is so much depth to these fucking characters. I still go back and watch it, and I'm, like, amazed that they were able to get that much out of it. Incredible story and plot. And Spider-Man was a great origin story, but, like, this is a juggernaut as far as plot goes for me in this tournament. So TMNT gets the point for me. Banner?
Ryan?
They're going to take the sweep again. I'm going to say, it's not exactly adult subject matter, but it's not kid subject matter either. And that's you're right in a very gray area there with that, and they killed it. It's somewhere in the middle. It's funny and it's serious at the same time. It's a very, very good story just about brothers facing challenges together as a team and just the struggles of growing up. And I think that's something that everybody, at no matter what point in your life you are at, you can relate to.
When I saw it as a kid, that night I beat the shit out of my little brother a little bit less.
This movie definitely was made for people that were about 12 to 15, but when it came out, I was like 5, so it made it even cooler for me because I felt like an adult watching it.
That's awesome.
3-3 TMNT making it a game. That means it's a dead tie if you're scoring at home. Moving
What's
on
a tie?
to best scene. I gave it to Spider-Man. Bonesaw is ready.
Oh,
It's a
you're
fucking
so
great
biased.
fucking scene.
God damn it.
Got my boy Macho Man Randy Savage in it. It just seemed so comic booky to me. Something that I didn't get at this time through the X-Men. I love that scene. Watch it over and over. It's so fucking great how he messes up his name and comes up with the actual name. I give Spider-Man. Jeff?
That's a
I
great
guess I
scene.
took all of yours.
And Raimi ripped that off the comic book pages, which I love. I gave it to the scene where they go to the farmhouse, the Turtles, in TMNT, after Raphael is essentially in a coma, and Leonardo never rectified their relationship, and they really don't know if he's going to live. And I think it kind of lets them realize that, yeah, they're kids, and like fighting the Foot Clan, they always thought it was fun to be ninjas, and Splinter kept telling them, guys, this is not a fucking joke. Like, you guys need to stick together or this will happen. The gravitas of that situation when April O'Neil is like drawing and sketching all the turtles in their most like intimate moments, that scene just has stuck with me all these years later. This was a tough one because Spider-Man obviously has some iconic scenes, but I had to go the original TMNT at the farmhouse. Banner, what do you got?
Banner, it's 4-4, break the tie.
All right, I want to say this first, Geiger. That scene that you picked, as far as quotes, though, that's up there for a top 5 quote in this tournament.
Yeah.
As far as scene,
it's
a great scene.
I have sex with my wife.
It's a great scene. Don't get me
all?
wrong, and I quote it all the time. But again, I have to go with the farmhouse scene in TMNT as well. It is a great scene. Again, it relates to no matter what age you're at. You can relate to that. It's just about coming together as a family in times of difficulty and just coming together and realizing that, hey, there's more than just me or you or this challenge ahead of us. There's family, and we're all in it together. And that's another one that's going to stand the test of time. So I gave it to TMNT.
No problem with me. That was a fantastic scene as well. 5-4 TMNT. Impact on pop culture. I'm going to let you guys go because I still haven't made up my mind. I went back and forth on this all day. So Jeff, go ahead.
Banner, Banner, you've been going last all round. Why don't you go first?
I gave it to TMNT. They took mascots, mixed them up with people, had a good story, and it worked. It was the first time that this had ever been done, and honestly, I think it's probably been the most successful time that it's ever been done. The only other time is maybe when they did TMNT 2. It was dark, it had and it also had major edits in Europe. Anything with a nunchuck could not be shown in England and UK, and I think that's a huge thing, which changed the trajectory and the tone with TMNT 2 and TMNT 3 in years to come. So I gave it to TMNT.
6-4 TMNT, Jeff.
I went with TMNT also. Geiger, I'll leave the really cool stat you told me earlier today about this film to you. But what made it so great to me was Kevin Eastman, his comic is, let's just face it, absolutely ridiculous in theory. Like, how much weed did you have to be smoking to come up with the idea that 4 turtle brothers named after Renaissance painters wield ninja weapons and fight a gang? Like, that's an absurd concept.
Oh, and their father or leader is a rat.
Oh, yeah, did we mention? Sorry, I thought, just in case you didn't think we could make it any more fucking ridiculous. But the thing that this movie does is it takes that, legitimizes it, gives it stakes, and I think it was the first time that even, like, our parents started to realize, like, yo, these fucking toys I'm buying my kid that are ridiculous, like, this is an actual movie with a script and a good story. So pop culture TMNT for me.
So, Jeff, I'm glad you gave me this stat, because TMNT was actually the first indie film that made it huge, and then on the second one, an actual production actually signed it. But, I've been thinking about this all day.
Oh.
Spider-Man, no offense, Banner, from the first X-Men, because when I went in there, I wasn't really sure what I was watching. Spider-Man, for me, in my lifetime, was the first time I actually felt like I was seeing a summer blockbuster comic book movie. I remember going to the pool that day, getting tickets for me and my girlfriend at the time. I was in 6th grade. She dumped me afterwards because I didn't pay enough attention to her because I was trying to watch the fucking movie. And it was fantastic. It delivered. It made for a great sequel. And it was very hard because both of these movies are the exact same. The first ones are good. The sequels are good. And the third ones suck ass. So it's really hard to take that. But I'm going to go with Spider-Man. 7-5, Spider-Man, rewatchability. I'll go with TMNT on this one, though, because it's a better movie. I just feel like it is. I'll watch TMNT once every 2 or 3 months. Spider-Man, not so much for me. Jeff?
Yeah, this was tough. I went with Spider-Man for rewatchability. It was actually on TV last week. It's a little campier than I remember, but it holds up. TMNT, as far as rewatchability, it's a little darker. Doesn't have as much action as I would have liked as a kid, so like it's not as fun to pop in as frequently as I would maybe the second one, but they're both great movies, man. This was another tough point to give out, but I went with Spider-Man. Banner?
I went with TMNT. I could watch this once or twice a year, and I can quote all the lines. Spider-Man, I just can't quite do. Again, you guys know that I love the Amazing Spider-Man series. They're a little bit newer. He's a little bit younger. If I'm going to watch a Spider-Man film, I'm going to opt for one of those ones. Again, nothing against the original Spider-Man. Again, I went and rewatched this. I rewatch it probably once every 18 months or so. But if I'm gun to my head, you have to watch a Spider-Man movie 10 times over and over. Probably going to do an Amazing Spider-Man as opposed to this one. So I'm giving it to TMNT 2 because, I could watch that movie 100 times and never get tired of it.
Wow, turtle power.
There you have it, guys. TMNT beating Spider-Man, a movie that I had a number 1 seed whenever we were filling out this bracket. Moving on to the Sweet 16, 9-6. So movies moving on, TMNT, of course, BVS, Winter Soldier, and The Dark Knight, all moving on to the Sweet 16. To check out our bracket and everything else, go to our website, bro4squad.com. Also, subscribe to us on YouTube and iTunes, and finally follow us on Twitter at bro4squad. And like us on Facebook. Thanks for your votes. Keep voting, and check us out next time.
Turtle power.